live. This is Ukraine Updates with the Shills, where Russian propaganda gets wrecked, fascists get roasted, and freedom gets the last word. Speaking of wreckage, Russian generals are dropping faster than the ruble. Russian ammo depots are going boom faster than Trump can cry accident every time Russia slaughters civilians. And American peace plans are also collapsing harder than Moscow's remaining ammo depots. Want the war to stop? Call 1-800-VLAD-STOP. Data rate supply straight to funding Chinese and North Korean missiles for Putin. I'm Slava, your co-host, and let's say hello to our host. Hi, Dick. How's it going?
Very well indeed, on a personal level, but pretty frustrated with some politics right now and how it's playing out. But you know, such is life. What are you going to do? Just struggle along and do the best we can. And hopefully somebody with a really good aim from a long distance away finally has a day off and nothing to do.
Definitely agree on that one. And today on the panel, we have Commander McMillan. How's it going?
Pretty good.
Good.
One's good. And we have Operator Starsky. How's it going? Welcome.
Hello, Slavi. It's a pleasure to be here. It's always a pleasure to see you and Dick and Commander McMillan. And I'm really happy that I'm here because I haven't been here for a while already. I missed you guys. And also, I'm really, really happy because today I'm joined with my bro that actually, you know, before the stream, we sent each other like nudes and decided to make the stream without shirts. But then I realized that probably more people will unsubscribe from this channel than subscribe. So we decided not to do that. And it's my pleasure to introduce my bro, Brandon. How are you, brother?
Thank you very much, Andrew, or Andre, whatever you're going by. But speak for your own chest. I'm feeling quite confident for my babushka appeal. Yes, thank you to the Shills for having me. Thank you very much for having me. And
our pleasure.
If you have access to the chat there, you can read the room, and if the shirts need to come off, we're prepared to do what we must for Ukraine, of course.
Yes. And speaking of,
maybe we can do a poll on that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we'll get a poll up, and today I'll direct donations through us as well as the links Brandon sent out are for Brandon's fundraising today. So what are we up to? What's going on?
You're talking to me.
Yes, man.
Okay. I was a combatant, a participant in the war for 2 years. I served in Hospitallers Medical Battalion, and mainly with 3 brigades, mostly with Marines. And my fundraising eventually changed to more proactive solutions. For example, if we had night vision, we wouldn't have to drive so slow and so carefully and hit mines, and less need for medics. And then these thermal scopes, I lived with a reconnaissance team. We shared a house in Avdiivka, and he purchased his own thermal scope for $5,000, a lot of money for a Ukrainian or anyone. And he told me it changed the war to him. It was like Grand Theft Auto on cheat mode. And that sounded pretty good to me.
Yes.
So I learned all about thermal applications. I actually had education in Texas from a few good Marines, and basically to create less work for the medics. That's a very long intro, but I do have an economics background after the army, and I'm very interested in, well, returns on investment, and not donating out of emotion or this hashtag rage donate. The best value for money with the least diminishing returns. Drone warfare is our war. We're rats in a maze on a battlefield. And many people Thank you for allowing me the time to explain this, how I came to this reasoning. As a layman, I'm no expert, but I know more than many of the comment warriors. People, if you watch those videos where the screen goes blank and then you'll see another drone and you'll see the explosion, what we call rozvidka drones, reconnaissance drones, 80 to 90% of those are off-the-shelf drones. Mavics, less known are the Matrice drones, and Autel. These are basically the three. And that's not likely to change through this war, probably into the next war. These drones are the same. Nothing really changes on them, but they break. They fall. Enemy ones fall on our positions. I've had some Wagner ones before, and they've got like the Wagner patch on it. And they need to be repaired. So does anybody know, just off the top of their, just a little interest here, do you know how much a Mavic 3 Pro or a Mavic Thermal would cost roughly if you're involved in Ukraine fundraising? Just take a guess. I'm curious too.
7 to 8,000.
Canadian, yeah, if you're Canadian, it would. But a thermal drone could cost up to 5,000 euros, $5,000. I just try to educate people, not to sound arrogant, but many people don't know. I don't want to attack NAFO, but it's so easy to understand the concept of a truck, and we need trucks. But what if I told you that,
Brandon, if I may, the truck is also a big, huge thing, and I think there's an easy element for the public to go, oh yes, so huge and tangible, and whereas, right? You see what I'm getting at there?
It's marketing, it's retail. It's retail fundraising, and I'm not saying that to be condescending in any way, but if a drone can be repaired, the gimbal cable, the camera moves up and down that cable, that's quite expensive. That's $100 plus, 150 or more. But if that's all that's broken, that's all that's needed. The yaw motor, there's 4 motors on them. Some of the motors can cost up to $80. Now, the normal people who didn't come from this background, some did, now they found that you can replace a chipboard on it for $20, and 7 out of 10 times that's the problem. Right. So we're becoming more efficient. In every drone house across the country, whether it be civilian or be official military, you'll see a Post-it note on a pile of Mavics, we'll say. There'll be a phone number, a name, and a brigade. And the brigade, everybody will know what we call the direction, where it's from. And they don't know when they're going to get that drone back. And because of our war, I think you would struggle with this. The commander could agree with logistically. You couldn't just cannibalize another unit to fix another one. We do that sometimes, but it's like, oh, you're not getting your drone back, but it's helping people in Kupiansk. He's not going to be happy. So people buy these components. I buy them through an EU defense contractor who's in drones, and he's happy to do it for no profit because it's not his bread and butter. He does other things in drones that we won't talk about, but the prices are quite favorable, and we're seeing a return on investment because they're getting their components in a bulk. I'm not saying I'm the only person involved in this. There might be bigger or smaller. I only know my part, but I'm very happy with, say, 10,000 euros worth of components on a 6-week lead time, and that could repair potentially up to 100,000 worth of retail of drones. Even more, depending on the component that's broken. It could be 150. I don't want to promise that, but that's not very sexy, but it's very appealing to me. And I'm looking at our Excel sheets, not that I know how to work one, but they do, and they're very meticulous. And I see the work that we're doing. And it started with Mavics, but now we're getting into the Matrice drones. We've sourced the parts, and the Autel drones. And if I could last finish, the reason I do this back to the comment warriors. Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? Well, I don't have your background that you claim to have. And if you would like to sign a contract with the armed forces of Ukraine and go through the vetting process, you could do this, but I'm here. You're not. And I say that very humbly because I know my capabilities. The reason I don't get involved with FPV, it moves too fast, the technology. And to be quite frank, the Russians are better at it than us. They are now. But as the moment our people find a new solution between the ground station, the antenna to the repeater, it's a system. It can change in a week or a month. But the reconnaissance drones that we buy off the shelf, that is 80%, that is not going to change. And all I need to do is get that right once and refine it as a relative layman, and that takes a huge financial burden off them. And they can focus more on their FPV and the ground drones, which are really actually starting to break ground, and that's starting to show up on Russian Telegram, which is what we want. That I seen some of that stuff about 8 months ago, how it was developing, and I know some of the people, foreigners too, Americans, who have taken a liking to, and how they've trialed and aired, and how their best drone ever got caught on top of a TM62 on a hill, an anti-tank mine, and it just got wedged such a way with the wheels. And he said, well, I've spent 3-4 months on that. I'm not letting that go. And he got it back, and it works.
Wow.
And it's fantastic. Like the cocking mechanism, they can't fix a stoppage on a machine gun on one yet, but they've figured out. It's really phenomenal. But I can't be involved with that. Let them do their thing, and they don't want to talk about that publicly. But what I can share on my YouTube about the reconnaissance drones and the other things, just as a spice, like how to take apart a javelin. Some people want to see that. I can show that. But it's the greatest return on investment, because we can't be emotional. We can't be emotional. I'm certainly not emotional, and I'm very detached to my work. I've had to become that way. So yeah, that's why you have me on here, and we can talk about whatever you want. But there will always be something. But this is one thing that I believe I must sustain. I must sustain throughout the war.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people understand that you have to maintain a car, so there's an angle there for a relationship to get that into the mindset, right?
Yes.
People that are into the higher end RC cars that have like fancy motors and all that, Traxxas and so on, they understand, right?
Everybody understands, but it's not as tangible.
Exactly. And it's not as real world relatable, right, to them personally.
Of course.
Well, yeah. And I think part of that is because, everybody owns or has seen a truck. They know how much it would cost if they were to buy one for themselves.
Yeah.
But for a drone, most people, when you talk about civilian drones, it's, you go to the big box store and you buy a little play drone and it's a couple $100. They don't translate that into thousands of dollars for a viable modern reconnaissance drone in the field. It's difficult to make that transition.
We've learned our limitations over the years. The biggest value in that drone is the thermal camera.
Yeah.
And everything happens at night. Warfare has one aspect that has not changed before first light, and at twilight, before dark, the chess pieces still move. And these little thermal cameras see everything. If you were to go to what we call a talk, I don't suppose many people talk in this manner on your channel or other places where, you could watch 12 screens, and you might see a little hole with two little rats who came to Ukraine in it, and they might lift up a blanket, and that drone might see it, and they might just pop off the 60 mil mortar, and that man will sit there, and he will make a mark on his laptop, and that will go down on the list, and in no hurry, they will be eliminated sometime later on in the day, and without emotion. I've seen this, and this is these reconnaissance drones. When we don't have them, when we don't have intelligence, I do not watch the news. I don't, but I have many friends in Kursk, and when you don't have the intelligence, things can change very, very quickly.
Right.
And these are our eyes on the sky, and that orange bastard can never turn those off.
Yeah, or as Commander McMillan here loves to call him, the orange shit gibbon. I very much like that description.
I've adopted a new one for when we're trying to not use that word. So he's now the Orange God King.
Very much, very much. There's a couple of shout outs here that I can do quick while we're going. I'm getting some very strange action from some of the services here that are, give us the pop-up things and stuff. And I'm missing, somehow I've got a missing donation already. I don't understand it. So bear with me as I try to figure this out. Okay, so where are we here? We've got, oh, for gosh sakes. Okay, so we've got Camo that came in for a suit that has the right color. That was a $20 Ko-Fi donation there, direct in. Good one, good one. And then Thomas P came in with a $30 direct donation through Ko-Fi as well. Applause for the donations here. And Starsky, I wanted to turn to you here for a quick little story time, probably. This one was in memory of Nico.
No, that's for me.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure who to apply this one to. So sorry there, Brandon. Please go ahead. Yeah.
I lived in Sweden before the war, and five of us came to Ukraine together, and we joined Hospitallers Battalion. 3 of them are now back in the Swedish Armed Forces, and I'm still here. And Nico died in Bakhmut. Yeah, he was 24. He was from Helsingborg, so you probably don't have good Swedish geography. There's Malmö, Gothenburg, just up the road, and he did his army service in Finland. Because you get conscripted in Sweden and Finland, but his mum was from Finland, so he did that. He was a Finnish Ranger, and he was a handsome bastard. He was about 6'4", built like a brick shithouse, and a smile on him, and funniest guy you ever meet. And he died in Bakhmut. He was 24 years old.
Wow. Yeah. Sad to hear.
Good guy. The best die. A friend of mine told me, an Israeli, said, don't go to this war because you're a good man and you'll die. And he said the best die. His uncle died in Yom Kippur. And I never understood this, and Starsky will agree. There's better men than me and him, and it's always the best who die.
I can totally agree with you, my friend, because 2 days ago I lost my friend. And we were together from 2015. We joined the same battalion in the police special force. And he died a couple of days ago in Taurus, and that is exactly the case. For some reason that I cannot explain, because people that never imagine laying their lives, never imagine losing like that, the best people always go. That's 100% true.
Some assholes too, because it's a big army. It's a very big army. Let's be honest.
But unfortunately, in most cases, this is life. And again, I cannot explain its rules. Unfortunately, for some reasons, assholes tend to live longer. So
Generally.
whenever somebody says that Putin will die like in 2 years because he's lethally sick, or like Khamenei, no, won't happen, unfortunately. We will die in like when we're 80, 90, but they will still live.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, man. I got another shout out here. Lynn's definition in the chat there. Send in a 25 direct donation through PayPal, I think. I'm trying to sort this out because Google has done something, and I had PayPal notifications that had like a message that I'm, going to read out and say thank you, and it's just gone. So I'm trying to figure out what happened. I should be better at this, but it's really not working out for me today.
Either.
Yeah, sorry everybody. I'll try to figure it out as best I can. We just had another one come in. So Linda H, $100 direct donation and some applause. End with the horns. And that's for Brandon's fundraiser. Linda H, thank you very much.
Linda.
All of these direct donations coming through us today go right to wherever Brandon wants the damn money to go. So he'll tell me where to put it afterwards. And wait a minute, that didn't come out right. He'll tell me where to donate the money to after the show, and I'll do that.
Send it to Jake Bro. He lives in Las Vegas, and he's starting the Ukrainian gigolo stable. Because all modern women, particularly in North America, where are all the real men today? So we're going to bring all the Vovas and Dimas and, like the real, all the veterans, they will get green cards and they can be. Jake hasn't agreed to this yet, but the other channels are in full support.
The dancing bear concept. Remember, I showed you.
Yeah. Don't worry, I'm becoming a real man like you too, Starsky. You see.
Well,
when
that's
the shirts come
brother.
off later. Once we start talking $100 donations, the shirts can come off, but it's got to.
Yeah, exactly. So, well, here, let me just refresh my page here, and I'm Canadian, so these are Canadian dollars, but we're well up into the good side of 200, approaching 300 in PayPal at this point. So you see what I mean? I'm missing notifications because I haven't yelled out that much money in donations. So I will sort this out, everybody. I'm so sorry, but it's not my fault.
In the meantime, I have a question for Brandon. Can you tell us about the components for the drones and how important they are?
Yeah. So I support a platoon. So in Ukraine, sorry, I'm the negative one. I just tell what I know. In Ukraine, we have brigades that are now the size of battalions. But in 25 Brigade, in the Remont Zvod, the repair platoon, it's actually the size of a company. So it's actually quite the opposite of ZSO. And these guys, so anything to do with drones, anything to do with componentry, or plastic, filament, that this is what they want. When you're running, a Mavic, depending on the weather or the battery you have, you get about 20 minutes flight time. Okay, maybe 25 minutes. Right. So you could count a battery as a component as well. These are things that come and go and come and go. The main component that breaks is this thing called a gimbal cable. So you can manipulate the camera. Okay, where an FPV, they generally don't have them. Some of them do. The bombers do. That's fun. That's fun work. But that we haven't figured out how to repair. The next thing, there's 4 motors. Okay, when it falls, something breaks. unfortunately, as there's so many 3D print enthusiasts, we can't really 3D print the frames. Okay, so those have to be bought again. The arms have to be bought again. Sometimes they can even be glued back together. You know, that works, like a very strong epoxy, but they can't be 3D printed. We haven't found a way yet. Every day, how important are they? Like I could just tell you anecdotes, but I support the repair platoon in 25 Brigade, which is very large. They probably support 20 other brigades that they know they're capable. They know they have the ability. They send their drones there to be repaired. But however many components, it's not a manpower problem, because there's plenty of people that want to do this work. There's plenty of people who come from Sturmova. I know a man who comes from a Sturmova background, assault. He knows how damn lucky he is to be there. He will work 12 hours a day. Right. And there's a lot of people like that, but it's the components. They need the components. So the longer the drone waits, when they're sending their drones to these people, many soldiers are not so. They're not so expectant of their volunteers anymore. 3 years in, they know they're doing all they can do. It's purely a material problem. We have the people, we have the know-how, and the more components they have, the quicker they can repair. And I don't always get the list right, but now we have a better collaboration on priority of components. And some things I was buying at first that wasn't a common repair, because I just threw the money at everything once we found that the quality was good. But the more components they have, the more options. We're just trying to give them options,
right?
But if you can get a drone back, a good reconnaissance team, well funded, maybe with a foreigner, would have 4 Mavics. If you were in Kherson, I knew somebody in Kherson that didn't want a second thermal drone, so he didn't have to do the night shift. You know, we're all human beings. They're constantly short. If you lose a drone, you can't work with one.
Right.
Okay, because the moment one is coming back, another one is going out constantly. It's pure logistics. The more you have, as simple as the trucks are.
Yeah.
Okay. No, this is not simple, because we're not the British Army. We don't have all Land Rovers. We're not Americans. We don't have all Humvees. We're not Germans. We don't have all G-Wagons.
Yeah.
We have an L200. We have a Hilux. We have a Ranger. We have a Zhiguli. We have, and if you have a Mitsubishi L200 or a Pajero, those parts are in Kramatorsk. If you have a Hilux, they're in Dnipro. You're out for 2-3 days, and then you still need the mechanic. Only Azov Medical has all the same Kazavak vehicles,
right?
And they had the funding to pull that off. They're the only ones I know. So this logistics problem is ubiquitous across the line.
Makes sense. I mean,
I want to do reconnaissance drones. There's only 3 drones, 3 bloody drones. I only have to get 3 right.
Right.
Yeah.
We've got a couple more shout outs that I can do that actually have shown up in the list. So Spider Fate Fellow was in with a $10 direct Ko-fi donation there. Love Brendan's work. Thank you for everything he does. Big shout of applause there. Thank you so much. And there's a couple in here, like I don't want to be, I know a couple people I could really dox because I can see your names in the PayPal list, but I know that those are names that have usernames to them. And if I was just getting my alerts properly, I would have the right ones. But I do know Stephen Walsh comes up as Stephen Walsh, and he threw in $130 direct for Brandon's fundraising. So look at that, Steve. You got a nipple, baby. Look at that, Steve. You're making them horny. You're you know, I think that something is awakening in the man.
You should have appropriate theme music.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, we need some porn groove, like take it off music, you know?
I was just thinking that we need some of that strip club music,
Yeah, yeah.
like from the 80s.
Yeah. I need that clip. There's a YouTuber, Techmoan, that I really like. Anytime he peels the plastic off a new device he gets, he puts it in slow motion and he puts this slow porn groove. Take it off. It's
Oh
really
my
funny.
God. You people are degenerates. You're worse than me. Well, you are, Dick.
Yeah,
Everyone else is quite well behaved.
I set the bar pretty low around here. It helps my guests look better.
Are you from Kamloops, Kelowna?
Yeah, that area, a little south, a little bit even sunnier and nicer than there. But
Not from Osoyoos, are you?
I know that area. Yeah. Yeah, similar kind of. I could get there without too much bother. Very much. Yeah.
I know the country.
Yeah, there was a time I lived there, and I lived right on the border. And there was a couple of times the border guards would like come and knock on the door and say, "Hey, stay inside for a couple hours. We got some border jumpers we're looking for." All right, you know.
Coming from that region of Canada, you wouldn't have ever smoked a marijuana cigarette prior to them becoming legal with the Trudeau government, would you?
No, I would never ever partake in something like that.
No, not from BC. No, not at all.
No, I didn't start at a young age and grow up on that stuff, living in Canada and whatnot. That didn't happen. Not even close.
No,
Yeah. So
No, the correct phrasing is, I did not inhale and I did not enjoy it.
Yeah. And although I don't play saxophone, I can play a guitar like a motherfucker. So
well done.
Yeah. So I'm still working on trying to get the rest of these alerts to give me some love here, people. But I can tell you, as soon as this thing resets, if it does reset, come on now, you can do it for me. You can do it for me, for the love of all that's, here we go. Come on. Finish drawing the screen. Sorry, but PayPal is just having a conniption fit in the background.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Dear.
It's not that it shouldn't be a problem on my side, because I've got more than enough computer horsepower to do all this crap. Yeah, so we're a couple like an inch or so away from $400. So fundraising is going very good today. Thank you, everybody. Huge thank you.
Everyone.
Yes, a round of applause for everybody.
We
Are
have
you gonna
some
show a nipple?
questions coming in for Brandon. So should we do that?
Yes, please. Very much so.
We have a question from Tone Otson.
Oh yes.
Is Brandon into gun oil? Seems like there are some empty shelves in Ukraine.
Empty shells or shelves?
Shelves.
Oh, this is vape juice. That's a gas mask cylinder, a charcoal, but that's just there. And yeah, no, I'm staying with my friend's mother. I'm in what we call a polygon training in Kiev, and I'm living with an older woman. I told you earlier, she's she thinks I'm very rude. Yes. No. There's no guns here. We don't have any of those things. We're just next question.
All right. Question for Brandon from Captain T Obvious. I have seen a video where some Dutch young engineers made the fastest camera drones with the help of a Red Bull F1 team. Would it be an idea to get in touch with?
Well, again, wouldn't I want to say this kindly, wouldn't it be nice if we had a million things, wouldn't it be nice if we had who could do that? who could email me, because my email address is easy enough to find, not in the comments, but who could email me with something that they could implement that would make our lives easier, regardless of how good of an idea it is, that it didn't create more work for us. It's such as the cognitive ability right now, 3.5, 4 years in.
Yeah.
If you can do that, and I'm not even being sarcastic, make it happen. Send
Yes,
me an
please.
email, but get it lined up first. Yes, of course.
Absolutely. That would be
But
great.
unlikely. Great idea, bro. Like, Jake Bro's never gonna have that brothel, but it's a great idea, you know. Jake wants he has political aspirations after this. You know, if he associates, like, I see me getting edged out. I see people like Starsky, who's less of a degenerate. Yes, I knew him. You know? Yeah, it's not gonna happen.
Starsky, did you want to switch over and tell the story that goes with the pictures here? We're already.
Yeah, and I think that Brandon can explain a bit more, because a couple of days ago there was a strike in Pavlograd. I believe that Dick already has photos. And it was a strike on the medical base of hospitaliers. Unfortunately, there were vehicles destroyed and a lot of goods used by the unit also destroyed. I think that Brandon can explain a bit more.
Yes. So I'm a member of Hospitallers Medical Battalion. Our main base in Pavlograd, it was hit by Shahid 2 nights ago, and thankfully nobody was wounded, nobody was killed. There was an attack very close to our proximity almost a year ago, and all personnel had moved to another location. But it's a very big building. It was our storage, and this storage, I believe no less than 10 ambulances were lost. I don't know how much of our pharmacology supply is gone. Equipment, the collection, because our needs are constant, but it's not exaggerated. It was set at 20 million grivna. Now, for the most part, our battalion is held in a very high regard in Ukraine. The monobank is now in less than 2 days is at almost 8 million. Of course, we need more help with this. When I finish my current fundraiser, which is going well, I usually have excess money. It will definitely go to this. Pavlograd base is essentially the spiritual home of our battalion. Has a long history with the Dobrovoltsia since 2014. It wasn't until full-scale invasion that we eventually acquired another base in Kyiv, but things have been lost, memories. For every lost member of the battalion, there's a mini shrine for every person in there, and everything was gone. Everything, a history, essentially a history.
Yeah.
And it's very sad for me, because I identify with Ukrainian nationalism. I identify with the real, what they call Dobrovoltsia, the volunteer army, that I'm essentially what America was supposed to be, not what
Right.
we have now, that we won't leave it to the state, that we'll take matters into our own hands. And this is where Hospitallers came from. This is where Wolfgang da Vinci, the Da Vinci's Wolf, this is where Azov came from originally. And we're part of that history. And in that building, I mean, not that I could ever take you there, maybe, you know, like some journalists have, but it was living history of the people before 2022 who are going to go sort out their own shit in their country. And for me, it's very sad. You know,
Yeah.
Thank God nobody was killed. but it was still a storage, and the material in there from all our supplies, everything is gone.
Wow.
It's very sad. But the history means a lot to me, and I and many people in the battalion strongly identify with Ukrainian nationalism, and it's our. I'm part of that history.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's sad day. It's sad for a lot of people,
Very much so.
and the lives we affect. That are better because of us, that survive because of us.
We've got a couple updates here. I'm just waiting for this unbelievably slow website to finally reload. There we go. So, total direct on PayPal is now at $650. So huge thanks, everybody. We've got a donation from, and it's a flag, and I don't know my world flags very well, but it could be Brazil, maybe. I'm not really sure. Is there another way I could find this out?
It's green, it's blue in the middle, a little bit of yellow around the blue.
Yeah.
That sounds like Brazil.
Kind of. I mean, I don't watch a lot of football, soccer, whatever, but it's but we've also got Kamo in for another $10 direct one for a membership in Starsky and Brandon's OF. So very cool indeed. And then Mitch Ashdown comes in with $100 direct donation, and that is a direct heart-shaped shot right back at you. Love it. There's another one in here as well, but it's not showing in that list. So I'm not sure if I should be like, shouting people's real names out when they're got like usernames. Here it is. It says, here's one. It says for Brandon's drones. I can see that. And I'll just say, can I say let me see if I can, I'm pretty sure it's going to be Brad in the chat. So let's see. Let's see what happens here, because I think that's a safe guess. I hope it's a safe guess. Yes, and Driving a Luton says we were correct with the Brazil guess. So, okay, cool. Let's see here. Spider Fate, Linda H. Thomas P. Yep. Kamo. So everybody in that list is covered. Good. Let me go through some super chats here because we haven't done them. So Jean-Marc Laticour asks, which payment methods are best for Brandon? PayPal, buy me a coffee, so on. Well, you'll see in the description here that we've got his main links right there. I do know if you go to his YouTube channel, his About Me page or whatever they call it these days has all of his links. But Brandon, which one's the best?
It would depend what country you come from.
Okay.
I put a flag. So if you're from Canada, you have e-transfers. If you're from the UK, you have a bacs. If you're Swedish, you have a Swish. We have two different PayPals. We have Buy Me a Coffee. We have Revolut. I really discourage Ukrainians from donating, so I don't give my Privat card details because I think Ukrainians should help Ukrainians.
Yes.
But no, many sources, whatever's convenient. They all work differently and they work to different advantages. If you're British, your money is 99% going to radios, and I let that money accrue unapologetically. There's probably about £4,000 there right now, and that sounds like a very princely sum for many volunteers. But when we need radios, the best prices in the UK and the most trusted volunteer to deliver, Harley, from there will deliver 10, 20, 30,000 pounds of not only for me, for others. Because when we need radios, we need them. That just sits there. But however you want to donate makes no difference. If you're Canadian, the e-transfer, my Auntie Jennifer, she sends that once a month, and that more often than not, we're doing something and that closes the balance. But
and very, very low fees there. Like, you know, by doing it once a month as well, hardly any of that money's going out. It's all to the cause.
Well, she holds that for me, and once a month I'll see them all come. But it's important to have many different streams. I was in the British Army. I was in Belfast, and I know the history. And if you know what an IRA bagman was, we're just digital bagmen now. That's all we are, collecting for the cause. I told that to the British Parliament with a straight face, the Ukraine Cross Committee, and they understood exactly what I was talking about. But it's very important to support whatever way works for you. I've explained how the e-transfers, how the bacs transfers work. I also make income from YouTube because I do have YouTube revenue and channel members, and that's for pure nepotism. If you're my channel member, you know who Nika is. If she needs tires or if she needs whatever, she can have it. If someone needs something, they can have it. And I generally don't report on that money. I'm very stringent about reporting, showing video proof where everything comes from. And I would ask people to please question people who don't. And I'll leave it at that. If it doesn't add up, show me videos and pictures, not stories. We're too late into the war to be duped. So yeah, donate whatever way you want. And if you don't donate, I rather if you donate $20, it's better $20 this month, next month, every month than a one-off, because I really think this is going to go on for a long time. And if you don't donate to me, I'm not spiteful. I'll be hurt for about 3 seconds, but I'll recommend other people. Yeah. And they'll all be grassroots volunteers. They won't be organizations. Not that I spite the organizations.
Yeah. Speaking of which here, so before I do a couple other shout outs, since we're talking about those kinds of things, let me just play a quick video for everybody. This is from Carpasian Ukraine. You know how we fundraised up to get a truck with the rocket launcher on the back? Well, here, check this out, because this thing goes boom, fucking boom, baby. Let me zoom that in for y'all. Wait a minute, my button's not working. What the hell? How many other things are going to screw up here? There we go. All right, here we go.
For Ukraine та Бандеромобіль за організацію збору та підготовку авто. Дякую спільнотам за Shills, а також ATP Geopolitics за підтримку у зборах і самому Діку та Джонатану за активну підтримку. Слава Україні!
Героям слава!
За рідну неньку! Постріл! Постріл! Постріл!
Yeah. That's hashtag boom boom, baby. I love that very much. Our efforts also had a van with Carpasian Ukraine. We showed some pictures there recently and stuff. They're great. We're having a good time working with them on some fundraising. So let me just blast through a few more shout outs, super chat style here. We'll get some applause running here. We had Petra Olsen, Swedish kroners, 269 of them, no less. Doubling up here, Petra, with love to Ukraine. Johnny Ned. Yeah. Johnny Nedregard comes in with love to Ukraine here. Hello, Shills, Slava, Ukraine, Norwegian kroners. So we're getting all the K's in. We got Niles K in, renewing a membership and then gifting out 10 of them as well. We got Maria Margarita Bravo. I do believe that is correct. $10 super sticker, #1 fan. Love the little... I don't know if he's supposed to be a pair that's dressed like a tennis player from the 80s with the little headband and whatnot, but he's jumping up and down doing this crap. Thank you very much there. Jean-Marc Lederker in here. Which one do you prefer receiving, Brandon? So this was again to fundraising, but I think because of the world and how it works and whatnot, you can't really nail it to one, can you?
If you're Swedish, Swish. If you're Canadian, e-transfer. If you're British, bacs transfer. As I said, PayPal has the most autonomy. If you have a buy me a coffee, there's less fees. I have less autonomy over the money, but that goes 90% of the time. That goes to a defense contractor called MSS in the Netherlands. I never actually touch the buy me a coffee money. Once or twice I've transferred it to my own account, but it usually goes to night vision thermals. I'm not going to tell you what's best. If the flag applies to your country, that's the most convenient for you. But I leave it to God, because but all the money is convenient in different ways too. Like as I said, with the bacs transfer or with the buy me a coffee. Mm-hmm. I really have a passion for thermal scopes, and now that I'm back in Ukraine and not leaving, I can implement that. And when I was abroad in Sweden, I couldn't do that. So I'll probably be doing more of that. So buy me a coffee is great.
Right.
For that.
Cool.
Yeah, I can't answer that question. People want goals, and it's a war. People die every day. I got
a goal
on this.
Yeah. I got a goal. More. Because that's what the goal is. More.
But do you know how many NAFO 69 Sniffing Brigade intended recipients died waiting for their truck?
Yeah.
And
I've heard.
Not necessarily the fault of NAFO, but they're on the Slava Ukraine side. I'm a bit more on the Heroim Slava side, and just the reality. It's purely reactive to what they need. If you need an EcoFlow, we'll get you an EcoFlow.
Right.
Yeah.
A couple of shout outs here. So Stephen Walsh comes in again with $100 direct shout into the coffers there. Huge. Stephen, you're the rampaging warrior here. You know what we got to do? We got to
show him some nipples for the love of God. Show Walsh something.
Well, here, we're going to give him Captain Kirk's favorite lady friend. So here, the chat dance. Yeah, Steve. Good shout, brother Steve. Good shout. We've got another one here as well from a UTV and Ham there in the chat. $20 direct shout out. Slava Ukraine from UTV. Woohoo! Thank you very much, Ham. We've got, let me get back on track with the supers here. We got Mercado Median.
Oh. Hello, Andrew.
Amazing work to everybody on the panel. Oh, and right back at you, Mr. Mercado Media. Gotta love Andrew's stuff, man. He gets right in there and gets dirty with all the protest stuff and what's going on.
Nipple. It's a nipple, Dick. We have a nipple. We have a nipple.
Oh, that was awesome. See, Operator Starsky willing to go the extra mile to make sure that you are entertained.
Yeah, in detail, and unlike in Brandon, it's shaved.
Later on in the stream to see. The shirt might come well and truly off.
So a couple more here. Let me get caught up and we'll get back to it. Susie Mailer in the chat there. Liz, $20 direct super chat there. Brandon, you're such a tease. Did you ever find the sex tunnels?
Okay. These sex tunnels, I've heard about these sex tunnels in Kiev. I actually don't know Kiev that well. It's I haven't looked for these, but if I can be honest with you, if I was inclined to pursue that sort of thing, I have 25,000 Instagram followers and about 2,000 of them are Ukrainian women. I'm not Yankee, Belarusian Yankee. I'm like Yankee Malenki. Starsky will get the reference. But yeah, I don't need to go to Johnny's sex tunnels. You know, that's not for me, you know.
Brandon,
you know,
sorry, Starsky, just one sec. Brandon, your connection to us in the thing switched your microphone to your computer's built-in one. So check on the screen. You should get a little pop-up that'll kick it back to your Yeti here.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, there we go.
All right.
All right, there we go. Okay, so sorry, Starsky, go ahead there, buddy.
Yeah. I was talking about the sex tunnels, which is like, it's still a mystery to me because I've been to different tunnels, like in Ukraine, in Poland, in Germany as well. Didn't see much sex there. On the other hand, places where I had sex couldn't call them tunnels pretty much. And I'm not really sure how to combine those. But apparently, this thing could really get born in the dirty and perverted imagination of Russian propagandist Maria Zakharova. But on the other hand, I think, when we talk about Maria Zakharova, I think Freud could explain a lot of like what she says about sex tunnels.
They smell like urine. Public tunnels smell like urine, don't they?
It depends. In Russia, for example, everything smells like tunnel.
In Paris, they do. Everything smells like piss.
I'm not sure about Paris, haven't been there, but I've been to Moscow. Believe me, that place is nasty.
Oh, yeah, it must smell like everybody needs good plumbing because it's just not happening.
Apparently, that's why they snatched so many toilets in Ukraine.
Yeah. Couple more here. So Tyler Dowdy came in with a $20 super chat. Question here for Commander McMillan. Say a miracle happens and Trump decides to sell 10 Patriots to Ukraine. How fast could they actually round it up, get them there, and make it happen?
Assuming they're drawing from existing stock rather than having to wait for General Dynamics, Raytheon, whoever the prime contractor is, to create them.
Mm-hmm.
Probably 2 weeks.
Okay.
I mean, they have to fly them via C-17 or whatever, and then move them to the border via truck. But yeah, it could be done fast. But the issue there is the more you speed up the timeline for delivery, the more expensive it becomes. So in a lot of ways, it's actually cheaper to send it by sea and do it that way. And that almost doubles or triples the timeline.
Right. Okay. And let's see here. We've got UTV and Ham gifting out a Shills membership there. Thanks, UTV and Ham. And Niles G came in gifting out 10 Shills memberships. So huge thanks, guys. Huge thanks. I think I'm caught up on the super chat list there in the fan funding list, as YouTube likes to call it. They've got strange little things for everything. And PayPal's still really playing up. I can't get your messages quite right. I'm trying my best here. I keep resetting the site and doing all kinds of stuff, but I can say the updated total in PayPal to send over to Brandon after the show is now $760.
Thank you.
So yes, it's working out very well. Thank you to every single one of you. Slavy, we've got some questions in. Should we turn to our questions and involve our viewers some? Oh, are you muted? Maybe.
Yeah.
Sorry. Happens. All right. We have questions coming in. Question for Brandon. Tell us how Nika is doing. Is she still in hospitallers? And would love to know what Brandon thinks of Ukrainian-made thermal cameras. Is there an alternative yet?
Nika was a colleague of mine. We worked together for 4.5 months. She was in the same vehicle when Nico was killed. Quite a thing for a 19-year-old girl at the time to experience. She serves in the Desheve, in the air assault. She was what's called a rota medic, a company medic, but now she's serving in the brigade medical company. And they are deployed in the Kharkiv region. The last time I seen her would have been September or October. and she messaged today. She's good. She's a private person. She doesn't really like to engage with the social media. 3.5 years in, I understand. Just wish her well. Just wish her well, and she's okay. And for thermals, Starsky would know the brand. So I only know about the Ukrainian-produced thermal scopes for rifles and machine guns, but there's a Ukrainian brand that used to sell to civilians. They don't anymore. They used to even export, but now it's only for military. And I've never actually seen one. I don't know the name of the brand, and it's supposedly the best in the world, or one of the best. It beats all the American and European manufacturers. If Starsky said that, if he knows the name, if he said it, I would recognize it.
I cannot tell you because, for example, those that we used in our brigade, they all came from the United States, and they were not really new.
No, of course they weren't. So all I'm talking about is not from experience, but if you hear it 5 times, you know it's true. Yeah. So we have very good. I know they cost $10,000 plus everything they make. Maybe that's what's on the Deshaka, because they have a really big thermal for the ones that shoot the Shahids. And yeah, I don't know, but I don't know much about them. I've only heard rumors, and they're the shit.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
Ukraine can produce.
You heard the man. We have another question for Brandon. After you hit the landmine, I asked Rotary UK to get in touch with you and help. How did you find the experience? We don't normally help randoms on social media. This is from Disposable.
I've not had any contact with Rotary UK. The army took care of all my needs for 6 weeks in 3 different hospitals, and I had my final MRI in Sweden in December. Not your question, but a large portion, a certain portion of my medulla is dead, but there's no progress. So I'm getting on quite well with brain damage.
You seem great to me.
Yeah, sometimes it's a good day.
All right. Thanks so much for answering that. We have another question. Question: how much does it cost for a Patriot shell? Can other countries transfer their shells without US? Okay, without us? Okay.
Commander, you're muted.
There are end user agreements, EUAs, which are signed whenever a major piece of equipment or ordnance is transferred to another country. So let's assume that Germany wanted to transfer a Patriot missile to Ukraine. They first have to get US approval. And we kind of know where things stand with getting US approval for anything helping Ukraine these days, sadly.
Well, I think most of the world knows because Peg sets numbers all over the internet, so anybody can join his punk ass's signal chats now.
Oh, yeah. Jeez.
Fucking idiot.
I mean, the thing that gets me about that is anybody, regardless of rank, who was active duty that did the kind of crap he's doing would have been court-martialed and, if they were lucky, discharged, probably end up with, time in the brig. And he just keeps repeating it and nobody seems to give a damn.
Yeah.
It's just like, what the hell has happened to standards?
One thing that pisses me off, for example, is that recent story when a son of a deputy chief director of CIA died fighting for Russians just a couple of days ago. And this lady, she was assigned as a chief director of CIA back during the Biden administration. And for example, I remember being a military myself. I know what kind of pain and what kind of security clearances you have to pass in order to receive and access to state secret. And it takes literally explaining in details everything about not only your relatives, but also about people you communicate with abroad. For example, I had to fill the form and I had to tell everything about my brother living in Australia, how many times we call each other, things like that, because a security service is checking all the details, checking all the information to find everything. This is security clearance. It's not a bullshit. It's a serious shit. And she literally had a son who went to Russia and joined Russian army and fought against Ukraine in a foreign army. And question is, did Russians know that he was the son of an official in the CIA? Could they somehow use this for their advantage? We talked about it the other day with Serhiy Sumleny. And, I think after analyzing this, I think that it's not that she would... I think the reason she was not fired by Trump was exactly because her son was there. That's just my opinion. I may be a bit too pessimistic, but I think that the reason she was not fired was because her son was there.
In U.S. government these days, competence matters nothing. It's all about loyalty to the Orange God King.
Well, to be fair, for her to pass a security clearance for that job, it's not only security clearance, you have to have a certain degree of pedigree and in society, and you had to go to the right schools and the right people. And there's one thing in our society, and militaries know this very well, the biggest fear is being left out in the cold. And she knew all the right people. This, to her, to be fair, a lot of people are making heyday. Imagine how much of a deep shame this must have been for her. That where did she go wrong with her son? Like the pastor and his wife and their child becomes, well, do you know who Jim Morrison was?
The Doors?
Yeah.
Do you know what his father was?
Yep.
He was an admiral. And Jim Morrison pulled his cock out on stage in 1968 in LA, and he died of a heroin overdose in 1971. It's I'm sorry, but I can't find another parallel. This woman was from all the right people, all the right places, all the right schools, and your son, who can't even grow a beard, thinks he can, and he probably drinks. I'm gonna lose some supporters here. He probably drinks soy milk, and the fact that he played on the football team, I think that's highly debatable.
He was the football.
Yeah. He wasn't. He wasn't going to play for Minnesota State. He wasn't. He wasn't going to go to West Point. He wasn't going to. He was the black sheep.
Yeah, ball warmer.
So I do have heart for a mother.
Yeah.
Not for him. Not for him, the silly bastard.
Yeah.
But yeah. Imagine how bad that mother hurt. So.
Oh yeah. Good point, man. Good point.
Their press person said that it's a private issue and not a national security issue. So they already know that it's coming.
Right.
Yeah.
But this kid, he started out with supporting Ukraine, and somehow his brain went, and I don't know. I read that he didn't trust the American government, like just completely went cuckoo, and that's how I guess he ended up being recruited in Russia.
There's also an aspect of the government tends to try, or at least it used to tend to try not to penalize people for what looked like innocent lapses of judgment or whatever. And a perfect case of this is Aldrich Ames. I don't know if people are aware, but he was one CIA agent who ended up being a double agent who had been working for the KGB at the time. And there were all these warning signs that people should have picked up on, like, Ames was married to a Russian. Ames was living well beyond his means in terms of, the house he was living in was way out of proportion with what his salary was and everything. And, nobody really reacted until other indicators started coming up about leaks that could be traced as possibly having come from him. And then, and only then, did they start looking into stuff. So you get somebody like this kid and, okay, he's doing outlandish stuff, and you just kind of write it off to, youthful indiscretion or whatever you want. And then it reaches critical mass and becomes a disaster.
Yeah.
As opposed to the Russian variation of this is, you wore a shirt that was the wrong color on Tuesday. We're going to send you to the gulag.
Yeah.
I tell you this, the biggest red flag generally for American people is going to Russia in general, right? An explanation, okay, an example. A dude goes to Russia, returns to the United States and kills John Kennedy. What kind of red flags do you need after that? Like, seriously, guys.
Yes.
Yeah. Gee,
what else do you want? Just don't go there. I can tell you so many examples. Russell Bentley, the so-called Donbass cowboy, who went there and fought, and he died. His story is actually a success story because the idiot died, and we have one less idiot on Earth. But after that case with JFK, I think you don't, like, as Americans, you don't need any other red flags. That is the biggest freaking red flag you can imagine. Yeah. Just don't do that.
Well, I've been to Russia not so long ago, and I have eyes on a certain world leader. Is that a red flag? Is that Russia, or would I be No, I shouldn't even go there. I shouldn't even go there.
I'd say that's a green flag, at least for me.
Yeah. Here, hold on a second. We can erase. Okay, hold on. We can fix this.
Don't even worry about it.
There we go. It didn't happen.
What happened?
Exactly. Yeah. I have no idea.
Who's here?
Did Starsky show his nipple again?
Okay, so let me see here. I've got a shout out. N Hill in the chat with a direct into Ko-fi there, $50 direct donation into the Brandon Fund for today. Thank you so much there, N Hill. Which Thank you,
Nicky Nigel.
Yes. So yeah, that puts us just over the $800 mark in today so far. Very, very cool, everybody. Thank you so much. I'm just looking through the stuff I get from PayPal because I know, like, there was one, I think I could say that it was from Brad, but I don't want to give the full name just in case I'm not supposed to. That was like $66. So it's been a heck of a day so far for fundraising, you guys. Holy crap. Thank you very much. YouTube just screwed up my fan funding chat, so now I'm totally screwed and don't know where I was. let's see here. Okay, so UTV and Ham gifted out a membership to the Shills. Thank you very much, UTV and Ham. And then we had Haji in the chat. Return all Ukrainian children. That is a demand the entire world must make right now. I mean, that to me alone is enough that it should be World War II style. Just take Russia and break it up, right? Just that alone. Jean-Marc Laticour came in with a $50 super chat. Huge shout there, Jean-Marc. Thank you. From Canada, but wanted to know which goes to drone parts. Well, as it pertains to drone parts, I think that's what Brandon's on right now, and everything coming through us today goes to him. So that's $50 to drone parts. It's a super chat, so we do lose the fee to YouTube, right? They take their cut just like an app store and stuff. But yes, very much.
Well, you have to pay Caesar what's due Caesar. Our channel memberships and those keep our algorithm alive, because how many of your subscribers don't even get notifications? And if YouTube gets their cut, that's why my channel, the algorithm works in mysterious ways. Not really.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I mean, we do get to send a bit more with Ko-fi donations because the fees are lower. But if every single person just used external things, YouTube would bury us because we're not helping them make any goddamn money, right? That's the truth of the thing. You got to follow the almighty dollar in the end, unfortunately. That's how this stuff works. A couple last ones here. Mercado Media with a super chat again. That's two, buddy. Huge thanks. Is Brandon still collecting funds for generators as well?
The last generator I bought was quite some time ago. Focused mainly on EcoFlows, just because I found a Swedish business that was happy to import a similar model at no profit, and to cover the lead time costs, so I could pay them up front, because I don't have $100,000-$200,000 to lay out.
Yeah.
So more people are asking for them. That is essentially, it's like the Tickle Me Elmo. If you remember the hottest Christmas item, everybody wants an EcoFlow.
Yeah.
So that just, I focus on what we can do. And financially, that's very effective, because the prices are quite high in Ukraine, and the actual EcoFlow brand is extremely expensive.
Right.
So, yeah, live long and prosper, and donate.
Ah, cool. That's awesome.
I got that from I met Rick the Ukrainian today for the first time in real life.
Cool.
Yeah. I looked into his soul. I did a mind meld with him, and I've decided I like him.
That's awesome. Oh, that's awesome.
That's his patch. He's a Trekkie.
Yeah,
so
very much.
I felt I could trust him. That and other things. And he doesn't like new Star Trek, so I could definitely trust him.
Yeah. There's a lot to be said about agreeing with that opinion.
Michael.
Couple last shout outs here. Jean-Marc Laticour, Brandon, how are you healing since the mine situation?
So that was in 22. I've had another contusion in Kherson, but yes, I have brain damage. I don't really want to go into details about it, but I function well enough. I have my limitations, and as I suffered from barotrauma and blast lung.
Wow.
But for the most part, I'm okay. I'm running. I'm not as fast as I used to be, in all aspects. But my birthday's on Wednesday. That's another fundraiser for an ambulance. I'm trying to run that mostly through my Instagram, because the interaction's different on there, and it's working. But I'll run a marathon on my birthday. Not bad for 39. I probably won't get a 3-hour time. It'd be 4 hours, but I'll do it. So yeah, I could be better, but yeah, I'm not complaining.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm not a pussy either.
Yeah, self-evident. Yeah.
That helps. That helps. Like just everything. It's supposed to suck.
Yeah.
It's supposed to hurt. If
Yeah.
you quit when it hurts, then yeah. So thanks for your concern. I'm not the same. I'm not the same, but I can do almost everything.
Cool. Yeah. Okay, here. So Xavier Estrada in the chat here. Brandon and Starsky are still inspiring us to stay in the fight for long term. Stay safe, guys. Awesome.
Guys, it works both ways. It works both ways because you are our biggest motivation. People like you, people who support us with their commentaries, you guys are our biggest motivation and inspiration. So we should thank you for helping us, to keep running.
Agreed, man. Good call. Good words. And then last super chat here, Jean-Marc Laticour in. So huge round of applause to everybody. This day's going great as it pertains to fundraising and stuff. You guys all deserve some big love hearts. There we go. Jean-Marc Laticour here. Forgot last question. Put to drone parts. Yes, that's definitely what's happening right now, Jean-Marc. Also, is there a leak at Chernobyl where Starsky's dad was? Starsky, is there a leak going on at Chernobyl right now where your father was?
So I know that after a Russian drone crashed into this so-called sarcophagus, that is a big construction about the fourth reactor. I know that there were some cases of fire, but as for leak, I cannot tell you anything because I was monitoring those news, and actually it happened, I believe, like several months ago already. So I've been monitoring the updates from there from the rescue service of Ukraine. They work there every single day, and they say that nothing serious. There are several places where the burning parts of the drone were still not burning, but producing heat, and they were there on the sarcophagus, but nothing special, seriously, luckily to us. But on the other hand, look, the sarcophagus number 2 is that huge construction on top of it. Then there is, underneath it is the sarcophagus number 1 that was built in 1986. And inside of it, the remains of the reactor, they are contained there. So in order to have at least some big radiation leak, I think that you need something bigger than a 40-kilogram drone. Plus, it didn't explode around the very first construction. It exploded more or less outside. But on the other hand, the very contamination unit that contains the reactor, it's not pressurized, it's not hermetic, and this means that different particles, and those particles they are dangerous themselves because they're tiny, and the wind can take them away at big distance. Those particles can be dangerous, and that was one of the main concerns, that a strike could cause this radioactive dust to go up and possibly to get outside of the of both sarcophaguses and leak. But as far as I know, it didn't happen, luckily to us. But again, striking Chernobyl power plant, I think it's not the best idea the Russians could come up with.
Monumentally stupid. Okay, let's see here. We've got Blonde Bombsheller in with a shout out here. Big shout out to the amazing supporters here. You are all amazing. Well, couldn't have said it better myself. And then Hadji comes in with big shout out to Blonde Bombsheller. So we got a lot of communal love going on. Just remember, keep your clothes on until we've got the stream ended. And then it's up to you guys. Do whatever you want. And I think we're caught up there. Slavi, we've still got a few questions from viewers we should get to, correct? I think.
Yes, we do. We have a question for Starsky. What is the mood in Germany about supporting Ukraine?
I would say that Germans currently are more thinking about their future and their future within Europe than about Ukraine. I read several polls about Ukrainians here in Germany, and I would say the total mood about Ukrainians, things like trust towards Ukrainians, a bit drops down. I can explain it by the fact that Germany hosts some of the biggest numbers of Ukrainian refugees. Not all of those guys are good guys. The amount of, for example, traffic accidents involving Ukrainian drivers is highest in Germany than in the rest of the Europe, which again we can completely understand. But generally, more than 50% Germans still support Ukraine, and they realize the danger coming from Russia. That is the most important thing. Trust towards countries like France, like United Kingdom, by the way, after Trump's, I don't know how to call it, establishment of Trump's regime rose dramatically. And this is very important. I believe that trust towards France and countries like United Kingdom among Germans, something like 70% plus, which is good because otherwise that would be like we are likely that it's not towards Russia, which is okay to me. Which is okay to me because if Germans stand with French and British, then we are already on the right track.
Yeah.
What's this is from me. What's the word on the streets? Will Ukraine get Taurus missiles?
Hopefully, we're looking forward to receiving the Taurus missiles. Merz talks about it all the time. And again, Merz is a conservative. He comes from a conservative party in Germany. And on the other hand, of course, German conservatives are not like US conservatives. They're different kinds. They have some stronger, more harsh, I would say, politics towards refugees. But at the same time, they have this proper way of thinking that reminds me big time about, for example, Ukrainian conservatives, who are primarily pro-European. And this is something that I really, really like about Merz and his political movement. So we are looking forward to receiving Taurus missiles. I really hope that it will happen as soon as him being a chancellor is established, and he can already take such decisions. Because Taurus missiles, generally speaking, they were already approved by the Bundestag, but they were never approved by Shills. So when the parliament votes to receive to send Taurus missiles to Ukraine, it was already a fact. It already happened. So I believe that we need probably another vote and confirmation from Mr. Merz, and everything will be fine.
I've got a couple shout-out announcements here that are, well, let's just say Lord, Thunder, and Jesus, baby. So to recap, the last one we had through Ko-fi, I don't know what the hell it's called, was N Hill there for $50 direct, which is awesome. Now, we have another one here from Jan in the chat. I had to search out the message, but I did find it. So this is a $50 direct donation here from Jan in the chat. And the message is, I'm sending $1,000 direct to Brandon.
Wow.
Yeah, baby. Let's see a little party action there.
Thank you, Starsky. Get them out. Get them both out. Come on.
Yes.
Come on. They know my material. They know yours. Come on. That's $1,000.
Yeah, man.
Come on.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's for Ukraine. It's for Ukraine. Yes. Oh.
Now, I'm not done because you fellas better get that good looking loveliness ready again, because Martin Gross up in the chat threw in a direct in Kofi here for us. Now, I've got to do this properly. $666. And it's greetings from Rheineck, Switzerland. Rheineck? I don't know how that would be. Brandon, high fives, MC buddy. Don't let it take you down.
Wow. Boritis, yeah. Wow. That's wow. Wow.
Let me just refresh here right now, but I think I can safely say, yes, direct in through the Shills going to Brandon as soon as this show is done. We have just hit $1,700 in PayPal.
Yeah.
Holy fuck, baby. Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. Wow. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Unbelievable.
Thank you, Commander. Thank you, Dick. Thank you, Starsky. Thank you, Ali, who made this happen. Thank you, everyone who donated and watched. Wow.
And Martin Gross up there, Stephen Walsh, N. Hill, Jan, Mitch Ashdown. There was one from the Brazil flag, very much. Spider Fate fella, Linda H, Thomas P, Kamo, and there's a few that I just didn't get proper notifications for. So when this show's done, we still got about 20 minutes or something here, but when the show's done, I will keep refreshing the pages, try to get the list of proper shout outs done, and do a big community post on the Shills channel and whatnot, so that, you know, I can try to give better recognition for how amazing you folks are today. So big hearts, right? We'll get it sorted, we'll get it done, and we'll make sure, something gets done right in the background here. Wow. Amazing stuff. Are we still with a couple of questions, Slavi, or are we caught up? Where are we going here?
Yes, we still have one more question, which is for Commander McMillan. But after Commander McMillan answers, I think we should go to everyone. And this is from Sarah, and she's asking, can I ask your opinion about the possibility of breaking Russia?
I'm not sure exactly what's meant, but I'm going to project and say, if you mean breaking Russia up into smaller component parts, giving some of the ethnic republics their own independence and such, I think it's an interesting and good idea, but at the same time, it creates its own form of instability. Smaller nations often end up tending to feud with one another. So it's one of those, you balance risk with benefit. So it's hard to read off on exactly what it would be. But of course, the precondition to anything along those lines of breaking Russia up means Russia needs to be defeated militarily. A overthrow of Putin's regime by some popular government or whatever is very unlikely to result in that happening. But regardless of how liberal the person is you appoint as your new leader, he's still going to essentially be a Russian imperialist at heart. That's the way that their oligarchic class works.
Right.
I would like to just add briefly to what Commander McMillan said. The only person who breaks Russia is Putin himself.
Yeah.
Let's be honest, because when all this started, Putin didn't have enough resources accumulated to finish his so-called blitzkrieg fast and reach all of his strategic objectives in Ukraine. And all this results in this prolonged collapse of Terror Russia, which, of course, may not really happen if Ukraine fails and all of our allies fall and the democracy on the West falls as well. But I think Russia is already damaged big time economically, and if the current dynamic is preserved, I'm talking about the dynamic of Russian losses in terms of personnel and vehicles and budget, then within some experts say that it's middle 2026, next year basically, we will see the slow but accelerating collapse of Russia. So the only person to blame for things that happen in Russia, to Russians, not West, not United States, not the evil Zion regime, not Ukraine. It's Putin himself. He is to blame for all the shit.
Yeah, I think we need to add that even if all the sanctions were lifted immediately tomorrow, it's still going to take Russia generations to recover from the damage done to their economy and their civil sector by this war. So, great strategic genius. Yeah, he's going to go down in history as the opposite of that.
Yeah. Guys, unfortunately, I made an error. When I said that we still had like 20 minutes, I was looking at how long we've been live, not what the actual time is. And I've got my son popping in very soon here, and I've got him for a couple hours before he goes back with mom and grandma and whatnot. Somebody's getting their summer tires on today and blah, blah, whatever. So I actually don't have a lot of time to continue on. That would have been a bad screw up. So Brandon, let's see here. Before we get into like saying goodbye and wrap ups, anything you need to make sure that's conveyed properly from your side to the viewers? We'll make sure your links are going out. We'll get them out again here. We'll make sure anybody that's not subbed to you and so on is, although I'm pretty sure most would be it. Yeah.
No, all the donation links, if you put whatever Ali gave you.
Yeah.
If you follow my community posts, because sometimes I just don't have enough time to put it in all the videos. I put photo reports and I can tell stories about what and why and who and how. And I'm very grateful for your support. And this has been a totally random ass stream.
It's what we specialize in.
If you would humor me for a moment, I'm a bit of a porch philosopher, and I've been working on this for some time. And if you're an atheist, don't be offended. I'm not sure what I am anymore. But what we have in Ukraine, there is two Ukraines. And, I know what side I am on. But what I'm reminded of, not everybody chose to step up. And the people who did, and this is the same for every war in the past, it's a true minority who are prepared to make that ultimate sacrifice. But I was raised Catholic, and I learned the story of God's covenant with the Israelites. But some people take offense to this, the chosen people. But God offered the covenant to the Canaanites and other tribes before the Israelites. They were not the first pick. But they were the only ones that accepted the covenant. They chose to be the chosen. They chose to be chosen. They accepted it. And I relate that to our struggle. regardless whether you're Ukrainian or not, it doesn't make you a good person. There's foreigners who've come here and fought and died. There's people like, I can only talk of Ali's story. She wouldn't be upset. She's not fighting in the war. She has a son. She has her own severe health problems, but she steps up every day. And the Israelites, if you move to Israel as a Jew, they call it making Aliyah, to step up. It's a literal translation. So I know there's negative thoughts about, I don't want to go there now, but I find the parallel to being chosen. I find great comfort in this, that if you choose to fight Russia in any way, and you choose to give maybe more than is comfortable for you, from America, from Canada, from Australia, from I met a boy who come all the way from New Zealand to join Azov the other day. He was one of my casualties on my ATLS course, role player. He chose to be chosen. He chose to step up. So anybody who believes in this cause, who can see beyond their own nose and their Kardashians, and I don't want to disregard anybody's trouble. And in Canada, we have a lot of trouble right now, but nothing will compare to the evil, to the current day Nazi. So people, I've been thinking about this a lot lately. I find a lot of parallels. You choose to be chosen. You chose to step up. And anybody who supports in any way, who gives what they can, when they can, how they can, who talks to others, who runs things on the internet, who goes to the rallies every week. I see them. I'll finish. There's a man every Saturday in Manchester in England. I was selected with some high profile people to go from Ukraine to speak. And he shows up, he hasn't got a pot to piss in, and he's got his mobility chair. He's disabled, and he'd never missed one rally. He's 68 years old and frail. And he said, well, I have to do this. And people always ask me, can I have your patch, man? No, you can fuck off. Don't touch that. That's on my shoulder. That's mine. I fought for that. But I gave him my patch. I can't eat it. I can't sleep it. And he chose to be chosen. So I'll stop with that there, but I hope everybody understands the sentiment. He chose to step up. A man who can't even walk.
Yeah.
Thank you. Starsky says they're the inspiration. I say, no, the blindage, that's my inspiration. Every day I must justify why I'm not in a trench. I must. But if a man with like that, as frail as he is, didn't miss one rally since full-scale invasion, and he's still alive, as best to my knowledge. So we all step up. It takes money, but it's not just money. It's hard. Thank you for listening to my
good words, man. Real good words. I want to do a quick reminder. My partner on the shows here, Dunk, he painted this one, a Starsky, and it is going to get signed once we all get our act together. And Rick the Ukrainian is helping us set up a proper auction for it, with all proceeds going to wherever Starsky wants to put the damn money. So that's coming up here real soon as well. Thank you to all our supporters. Holy gosh, what a great day this has been. Huge hearts. And I guess we should get Commander's thoughts. And let's get Slavy's thoughts, because I know there's a battery issue. And just in case she drops out, she better jump in now.
All right. Thanks for that. I wanted to say freedom doesn't defend itself. It lives or dies by the choices of free people. Ukraine is standing where the free world once stood. Alone at first, outnumbered, but never out of courage. Every dollar you donate, every post you share, every truth you speak, it matters more than you know. Support Ukraine however you can. Donate if you're able. Share the truth if you're not. Social currency. Because when freedom wins there, it echoes everywhere around the world. On that note, Slava Ukraini.
Heroam Slava. Commander McMillan.
I'll close out with my usual 3 minutes of silence. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, please correspond with your elected officials. Let them know Ukraine is important and you want to keep the pressure on them. And number two, don't lose heart. It looks grim at times, not just for Ukraine, but for all of us in the free world. With the orange shit given there, I said it. But yeah, there are better times ahead, and we just need to keep our efforts going.
Yeah. Cats in the chat. Hi, everybody. Slava Ukraine. Heroam Slava. And Niles G rounds us off in the super chat column with 10 gifted memberships. Niles, that's got to be about 45 memberships today alone. You are an absolute membership gifting animal. We love you. We love you. Operator Starsky, what would you like to leave everybody with?
I would like to say once again, big thanks for motivating us, for inspiring us, for standing with Ukraine. This is absolutely proper thing to do. And without you, I don't know if we would even talk today. Without your support, your help, without your supportive words in the commentaries, in the chat that always matter. Big thanks. I appreciate it big time. And also big thanks to everybody who supports Brandon. Again, this is very, very important. He's my bro. And yeah, absolutely. He's my bro. He promised to send me more tits today after the stream in the messenger. So I'm looking forward to this as well. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Hold on. I want to show you the photo when we talked about it today. Starsky does say bad words sometimes. So I don't know if you can see this. Get him off the screen. So I said, do we do shirts tonight or not? And he said, fuck shirts, bro. Okay. That was Starsky this morning, I gotta stop looking at that now. I like girls. I like girls. I like boo-boos. Oh,
that's awesome. So huge shout out to everybody. I have the pleasure of sending Brandon $1,700 at the end of this stream. Brandon, for the love of all that's good in the world, we got to do some more of this. It seems to be working pretty well, doesn't it?
Oh God, yes. Sorry, I don't know. Am I saying yes to start or the money? Show me Jerry Maguire. Show me the money, Jerry. Yeah, thank you.
Awesome. So there's only one thing left to say, everybody. Slava Ukraine.
Slava.
Thanks for joining us, everybody. We'll see you soon. Oh,
I have to read my bedtime stories now. It's bedtime here.
awesome. You'll see Brandon again soon, fellow babies. Take care out there. See you soon.
Bye.
It's over. Go home. Go.